Welcome to Heart and Soul with Claudette. Thank you for joining me. I have Sherneice, your mic is, you need to unmute your mic, both of you. I have joining me Miss Sherneice, Gatewood Ali, and Mr. Lee. We're from the WAPW. Sherneice is the CEO of We Are Phenomenal Woman. And Mr. Lee, unmute your mics. Your mics are muted. Thank you. Thank you. How are you? Thank you for joining me. Please introduce yourself, Sherneice.
Hi, how are you? This is Sherneice Gatewood Ali. I am the CEO and founder of We Are Phenomenal Women.
Hello, my name is Mr.
And
Ali.
Mr. Ali?
Yes, my name is Mr. Ali. I'm the co-owner of I Am Phenomenal Unlimited LLC, and also the co-founder of Mentors Against Drugs and Guns Through Experience.
Forgive me, people, we've been having difficulties with the mic and everything was working well and all of a sudden it just fell apart, but I still wanted to come to you. So the topic today, we're talking about domestic violence. And I wanted to speak to Sherneice. She that she founded, and not only that, but she has lived through it. So we want to talk about things that are related to things that are related to the relationship and how you identify some of the things that come along with domestic violence. Can you elaborate a little bit on that for us? What are the red flags? What are red flags in an abusive relationship?
Yes, hi. So once again, when I was in a relationship at the age of 18 years old, this guy, I thought he was my Superman, I want to say. I thought he was my hero, somebody who protected his woman. But in reality, he was more than a protector. He was actually my abuser. And I thought I was grown, and I exited out of my mom's house and I moved in with him. And he became extra jealous. He became insecure, I guess. One of the red flags that I remember I had gone through was when I wanted to change the TV channel from a video that he liked, some artists, some girls, and I went to change it. And we was eating together, and he took the fork and he stabbed me with the fork on my leg. From there, I looked at him like, what the heck? Like, what made you do that? And I'm just looking at him. So he was like, you changed the channel. It was actually Brownstone. And it's so funny. I remember the song because the song was just playing on the radio, on TV the other day. I heard it through the grapevine, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah. I was sitting in my living room just a couple of days ago and that song came on, and it just gave me flashbacks because that song, I actually got a scar on my leg because of that song. So that was a red flag. He wanted me to hang out with some of my friends. He wanted me to always be around him. That's also a red flag. So basically try to isolate me. Mm-hmm. And those are some of the red flags.
I see. So, okay. So, Mr. Ali, as you know, as we know, domestic violence affects women and men and, people of specific gender or, what are you, speaking from the standpoint of a man, what are your feelings? Do you know anyone? How do you deal with something like this when you are a male and you're going through? I mean, statistics shows that it's a large number of men that are in domestic violent situations What do you do? What do you do when you're in a situation like that and you're a man?
Well, from my own experience, most of the time, just brush it under the rug. Like it's not really looked at as something that is really detrimental. You might laugh it off. Like if we see a girlfriend slap up a boyfriend or something like that, people might laugh about it. But if you see a man slap a woman, then it's like, oh no, he didn't do that. So it's just like it's looked at differently. And I think that men experience domestic violence at higher volumes, but it's not reported because of that different way of looking at it, different paradigm of looking at it. Um, Sometimes, we have women that like to stalk men. Like they don't, if a man is out with his friends or whatever, they may pop up on him or run up on him while he's in a party. If they see him talking to another woman, they may cause a big scene. Sometimes men get their personal belongings destroyed, like they may key up their car or bleach their clothing. It's just many aspects of domestic violence that men may not look at as domestic violence, but it's something that they need to pay attention to because it can grow into a bad situation.
Relationships are pretty complex. They're pretty complex, and it's hard when you're in a relationship. Sometimes people that are in abusive relationships, they tend to stay because they don't know better, or they think it's okay. He beats me because he loves me. Oh, he does this or does that. That's because he loves me. What are the identifying signs? You're in a relationship and things are going left. How do you identify? What do you do? What do you how do you what are steps that someone will take? Either of you.
Can you repeat that?
Yes,
Can you repeat that, please?
You're in a relationship and it's an abusive relationship. Okay. You're in a relationship and it's an abusive relationship, but the person that you're with, he needs you because he loves you. There's a lot of times men tend to think that, oh, he's just, I made him up, or he's a, or whatever, and he's not mad at me, he needs you. What are the what do you think help?
Yeah.
For some reason, that whole question was broken up. We was trying to hear it.
But what I think that you were talking about was the signs of that it's time to get out of the relationship, um, especially when it comes to somebody mistreating you, and then when do you decide that it's time to leave? I think that we have to pay very careful attention to our partner's behaviors because, as my wife said, um, these red flags come up early in the relationship, and if we don't pay attention to those red flags, then we're looking for something detrimental to happen down the line. Like, for instance, somebody may be overly calling you, constantly calling you, constantly calling you. As soon as you leave out the house, they just keep calling you until they get you on the phone. If you don't answer the phone, they call you 1,000 times. And then if you don't answer the phone at all, they might just cause a big scene. So these are things that are early in the relationship. And if you see these things going on, then maybe you have to have a conversation with your partner and figure out exactly how they feel about the situation. And if it's something that cannot be changed and it makes you feel uncomfortable, then you may have to leave that relationship.
Right, and
I was reading.
I want to add on. I want to add on to that. He's absolutely right on that aspect. Sometimes we see those red flags is there at the beginning, and like he said, if you can't talk to your partner about it, because sometimes we might not see it that way. We might feel like, oh my goodness, this person really loved me. And that was my issue. I felt like he really cared about me. He cared about how I feel or the people that was around me. And he was making allegations like my friends was hoes and, you don't need to be around them, in other words, so that way I won't be around them anymore and I would just be around him. But when it was time for him to go out, it was like I didn't have nobody else around me. So when I went to where he's at, it was a big issue. I remember it was a time when I went to his friend house where they was playing games at, and he choked me. And when he choked me, he pretty much lifted me off the floor from him choking me to the point that when he let me go, I just dropped. So it was like I didn't know what else to do, who to be with, because all my friends they stopped coming around. So a lot of girls would feel and believe that the person really cared about them so much that once you get deep into the relationship, it's hard to get out, and that's an issue. That is an issue.
You both are married. You both are happily married.
Yes.
What does a healthy relationship look like?
I let my husband speak to that.
A healthy relationship is dealing with honesty, mutual respect, seeing things from your other partner's perspective. Sometimes you have to do things for your wife that you may not want to do. Sometimes she has to do things that she may not want to do. It's a give and take. It's 100%, 100%. You can't just say, "Oh well, I'm going to give 50% and 50% make 100." No, it has to be 100%. You got to give your all into a relationship, and sometimes it's going to be hard times. Sometimes it's going to be good times, and sometimes it's going to be just everything in between. And you just have to be there for that person, thick and thin. You gotta have to have that person's back. You have to show that person respect. You have to go out there and support that person. That's what it's all about. The relationship has to be complementary.
Yes.
Critical. Got me. Go ahead, Sherneice.
So I learned how to be in a healthy relationship actually through my husband and what I saw in his household, with his mom and his dad. So I was taught in a relationship is 50-50. And I realized it's not 50-50. I realized that giving your 100% all is the right way how to be in a relationship. 50-50 is like you showing face. You got this other side of you that you don't want the person to see. So, or you're saving your 50% over here for what? I don't know. I was taught that treat men like spare tires. So you always have somebody on the spare side. That wasn't right.
Right.
That was the way I was taught. But, when I went around my husband's family, it was like everybody, his mother, his father, they love each other, they support each other, and when he came in very supportive. And when he came into my life, he came in very supportive from day one. And when a person is like that, it's only right to do the same thing, be supportive, sit down, have talks, conversate, like he said, compromise, find out where you went wrong. And I'm still learning myself, so I'm not going to sit here and say that I am 100% good, and I'm learning. We've been married 1 year. However, we've been together about 3 years. So I'm still learning as I go.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I still
Yeah,
have some
well,
trauma in
so,
my past relationship.
mhm. I just want to say, I am reading a lot about domestic violence, and I agree with you. In a relationship, when you enter a relationship, it shouldn't be 50-50. You need to enter whole, and you build from there. If you're coming in 50-50, you bringing baggage with you. We all have situations, but when you start a new relationship, you're supposed to build from there. I was reading the statistics, and it says that in the United States of America, more than 10 million adults experience domestic violence annually. It says 1 in 4 women and 1 in 10 men experience sexual violence. It's really concerning the LGBTQ community because of, because the way that they need to be listened to, and a lot of the things that happen to them kind of go under the radar. How do you
Right.
feel about that, and what can we do about it? Who can touch on that?
So you're reading from the heterosexual piece. I do believe I'm looking at the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence, and they said, I'm going to read it,
Right.
what it says here: 43.8% of lesbian women and 61.1% of bisexual women have experienced rape, physical violence, stalking, intimate partner violence. So there is a difference. They also said 26% of gay men and 37.3% of bisexual men have experienced rape, physical violence, stalking, and intimate partner violence. So I do want everybody to understand that stalking is a part of domestic violence, which I did not know. Back in the day when I was younger, 18, 19, 20, yeah, I stalked, but now they're saying stalking is a part of domestic violence, because if you really think about it, when you stalk somebody, you're basically trying to find out what's going on, if the person is cheating or whatever the case might be. So if you see something you don't like, once you stalk the person, how you gonna react to it? You're gonna be violent. You're not gonna walk up to the person and shake their hand. You're gonna be violent. So stalking is a part of domestic violence. So with that, in the LGBTQ community, I do believe it's probably way more than heterosexual. And I say that because I don't know for sure, so please don't quote me on this, but what I see is the woman who plays the man, she acts extra aggressive. So when she extra aggressive, she is playing the role of two. So she's still a woman, but she's playing the role of a guy. And 9 times out of 10, both of those get in the mix of a relationship. Um, she want to be aggressive. She want to let this person know that I am the man, and respect me as so. And she might become physically abusive, or sometimes it could be verbally abusive. You got to remember too, hurt people hurt people. So I want to say with that, it could be a hurting situation when I say physical violence. So I'm not sure on the
Okay. I just wanted
LGBTQ.
to, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to add, now that we're all experiencing COVID, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people have been forced to be in situations or be in places they don't want to be because they don't have choices. A lot of women have been partnering or sharing space with people or with their abuse, just like, people of the same sex. They're sharing space with people that are abused. What do we have to say to those people? Can we help them? Is there a phone number, a helpline you can call? What can they do? What do you advise them to do?
Yes, there is a hotline. I'm going to give it to you right now. However, there are shelters that's open. So if anyone decides to get out of that abusive relationship, they can. At one point, they thought that shelters wasn't open, but they are. They are doing social distancing. I have a friend who works in the shelter, and he explained it to me and let me know that they are open. If anybody want to leave out of their abusive relationship, they can. They can go into the shelter. I have a number for you or anyone who's on the line that's listening is 1-800-799-SAFE. 1-800-799-7233. That is the National Domestic Violence Hotline. Also, you can call 411 or 311 and also get that information. If anyone who is going through DV, they are trying now to put it whereas you could text um, a DV unit. You could text them instead of you using your calling. You could text, so that way it might be a little safer for you. So, and of course, you can always call 911. Always call 911. I believe that whoever that might be going through DV, if you have a friend, a close relative, y'all should have some code words. So if it gets too rough, you can have a code word, call your friend, text your friend, and give her that code word. So that word will help you get out of the situation by calling 911 or leaving safely.
But it's normally a power thing to
Mhm.
overpower the other or whatever it is. It's more things. That's sure thing. It's more power. It's always in underlying force behind the all. You know, it's trying to reinforce their power. How do you feel about that? Sherneice, can you mute your mic? How do you?
So when it comes to power, there's different levels of power within a relationship. Like for instance, sometimes males may have more power within the relationship due to financial insecurity. They may be the only one working in the household, so they have the power as far as financially over the woman. However, there's also power when it comes to the woman, when sometimes a lot of males may not have their own household. They may be coming into the woman's household and she has the one with the least. So she has power and control over that male. And then also there's power and control issues when it comes to the children. There's food insecurity. There's many different levels of power and control, and it depends on who is flexing that dynamic within the relationship. So power and control can be utilized against both sides of the relationship, but often it's depicted in the media as if the male has the power and control over the woman. If you look into the power and control wheel of domestic violence, one of them is male privilege. And they say that male privilege is one of the reasons for power and control within the relationship. But if you look in the African American community, many African American males are emasculated due to the hierarchical structure of racial discrimination within the African American community in the United States. It's a patriarchal figure in the United States is the white male. It's not the black male. But many of us live in matriarchal relationships within African American families. So that's another power differential that can be utilized by one partner or the other.
That's correct. There are so many various forms of domestic violence, that so many different triggers. And this is what we're trying to talk about and to give people outlets so they know, well, you know what, you can this, you can that. There are places where there is help. You So that's important. One of the things that should be noted is domestic violence because of economic abuse, there's domestic violence because of abuse, there's domestic because of psychological abuse. A lot of these abusers is what they use that psychological portion of, things and really person's mind. So that's a form of domestic abuse, playing in games with his mind. And sexual abuse component that most not really the control. This is what the abuser does, is to be in control of the situation, whatever cost. I know, Sherneice, I know that you have a group. Tell us about the group that you formed and tell us what you do in that group. I know you have a lot of women that are part of it. Tell us about the different shops and all the things that you offer to women who are in situations like you were or currently are going different things and you're trying to help them. Yours, Sherneice.
Okay. So we are Phenomenal Woman. We basically give information. As you know, we definitely have to give information. We also run support groups. Our support groups is basically us coming around one another and sharing our stories, because some of us feel like uh, I'm by myself. Nobody else don't understand me. Nobody else never went through this. It's so many of us who gone through DV that I mean DV, sexual abuse, verbal abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse, spiritual abuse. We have gone through so many layers of abuse, and we hold on to it. So with our support groups, we get together, we share our stories, and some of us get emotional. And with that emotional that emotion of crying and I mean boo-hooing, a lot of us just get up on the make sure it's okay for somebody to allow us to give them a hug. We ask them, is it okay for us to hug you? Because I know a lot of us have been damaged or going through the trauma that you don't want nobody to touch you at the time. So we ask, is it okay for me to hug you? Yes. We hug. I mean, listen, we share tears as well. And that is what we need. We need people around us who's not going to sit there and judge us about what we went through. Because when you share your stories with other people who don't understand, those people will look at you and say, "You'll be all right. What you crying for? Stop that. Why you stayed?" You don't ask questions like that, because it really sets you back to, why did I stay? Oh, I should never stay. And then you start blaming yourself. So being in the room with people who gone through including the men, we asked some of the women, are you okay with a guy being in the room? My husband, he witnessed it every day, all the time, every Saturday. I even do Zoom panels, because right now we cannot be face to face with one another. So we do Zooms, and he also is in the Zoom calls or on a Zoom panel, because it's a learning experience for all of us, and we're raising daughters. So we want to be able to share these stories with our daughters, so that way our daughters will not be in the mix of something, and then my husband is sitting there like, what? He knows about it. He knows about it. He knows how what to look for, them little signs. He know what to look for. So with that being said, support groups is always needed. AA have support groups, NA have support groups. They even have Gambling Anonymous groups. Why domestic violence cannot have support groups? And we also have fashion show. We have a fashion show where Ashley Stewart will donate clothes and make a woman feel good about herself. We have makeup. We have the person come in and do the makeup. Somebody will come in and do hair, fix you up, and you run the walkway, and you feel good about yourself. So these are the things that We Are Phenomenal Woman is about. Also, if anyone who's going through a DV, I have a small connection of friends that will help me put somebody in a shelter. I don't have the shelter, and that is one of the aims that I'm aiming for right now, to get a 15 to 25 bed shelter for females, single females. That is my route, because a lot of single women don't have a shelter to go to for a DV. They will go into a shelter where it's mixed, where it's a lot of women who might not have gone through DV. You got to remember, trauma is trauma. Trauma is trauma. But you mix DV trauma with homeless trauma, it's like clashing. So We Are Phenomenal Woman is working on a domestic violence, single woman domestic violence shelter.
So tell me, Sherneice, is there you have a wide? How can people find you to become part of your group? How can we do?
You said, say that one more time. I'm sorry.
How can people become a part of? How can they join your group?
Oh, so they could go on our Gmail, which is We Are Phenomenal Woman at gmail.com. No, excuse me. We Are Phenomenal Woman.com is our website. So yes, we do have a website. You can fill out the application, and the application comes straight to me. It does not go to anyone else but me, and I will be able to contact you back.
Okay. So, Mr. Ali, I know you are so supportive of your wife, and I totally admire that. I just find that to be awesome, because you know what? You guys are not one and the same. You're a team, and in being a team, means that if her, yours, her too. You know, this is what a team does. Work together for a goal. So, what is your role in the group? What is your role in that Sherneice runs?
Okay, so it's interesting that I actually met my wife in the process of her doing the work that she does. I was able to find a promotional ad that she put on Facebook about wanting some people to come out and march against domestic violence. So I actually replied to the ad, and I called Sherneice up and I said that I wanted to march in the African American parade against domestic violence, and I wanted to bring my daughter with me so that she could see and hear some of the information that Sherneice was putting out. In the process of doing that, I learned a lot about domestic violence just marching in that march with a lot of women that had been formerly abused and that were now survivors and were now empowered. So I started to follow Sherneice as far as like the things that she was doing, and I came out and went to various radio stations that she was speaking at. I went to various events that she was um, facilitating, and I really enjoyed the information that she was giving out, and it really enlightened me to have a better understanding of what domestic violence pertains to. So within that, we developed a very good relationship, and over a while, we just fell in love with each other, and we wound up getting married a year or two later. Um, so in that process, I started to write grants for We Are Phenomenal Women, and I would write the grants, and she would do the budgets, and we would work together as a team to get these grants, and we won several grants in that process. So I was going to college at the time, so it was good for me to be able to practice my writing and doing something that was positive. Now that we're married, though, we've even took it a step further, and I have actually been on the We Are Phenomenal Women board as a board member, and I have also, uh, myself and my wife, we co-founded a for-profit organization called I Am Phenomenal as an extension of We Are Phenomenal Women. What we do in I Am Phenomenal, though, is we actually develop financially empowered women to become self-contained. Because many times in a relationship, they may not have that economic power, or they may not have had a vocation or some type of way to financially pay for their bills. So with I Am Phenomenal, what we do is we show them how to become facilitators, or we help them to take their idea and bring it into fruition, whether it's branding or marketing or creating a not-for-profit business or even a for-profit business. We just help them to basically flesh out their ideas. And then also I Am Phenomenal will hire these women as facilitators that can go out to different organizations and speak out about domestic violence. So that's basically my
That's
role.
awesome. I like that. I like the component about the grant. I like that. I like your role. It's a very important role because you're also giving the women an avenue, an extra avenue, something to look forward to and something else to do, which is important coming from a broken relationship and you're trying to build. So this is a very important component. I really like that, Mr. Ali. So Sherneice, I know your group. Tell us a little bit about the history of your group, how it was formed, how did the idea come about? I'd like to hear a little bit about that.
So back in 2015, somewhere around there, I wanted to do something. You know, I wanted to work with children with bullying. And that was pretty good. I was mentoring the fifth graders, and that was pretty good. I got them involved with and getting a better understanding on what bullying is. And the more I start doing my research, I'm starting to realize, why am I going to bullying when I know about domestic violence? I used to talk about domestic violence in school. A lot of my papers was on domestic violence. So I decided to go into DV. And in the midst of DV, bullying is the baby of domestic violence because most of the children see DV in the household. So they will go to school,
learn
or they
behavior.
will go into they will go into the school, they will go into the schoolyard, and they will act on what they see in the house, like you said, learning behaviors. So they are now bullies, especially when it really worked that one time. Give me your money, or give me your candy, or give me your sandwich, and it really works. Now you just birthed a bully. You just so after a while, I'm like, wait, I know about DV very well. I went through that. So let me start working on that. Start doing a little more research. I read Phenomenal Woman on Maya Angelou. And then I start saying, we are phenomenal women. Looked it
We
up so
are.
that we are, yes, we are. I started looking it up and I'm like, wait, this is going to be the name of my organization. We are Phenomenal Women. In 2017, I got my nonprofit papers, and then just recently I got my life coach. So I'm a life coach for domestic violence. So I have my
That's awesome.
certificate. Yeah, I went and I'm about to go back to school to get my master's. So with that being said, I am not
Bravo.
going to stop. I am not going to stop.
Bravo, bravo,
Thank you.
bravo.
Yes. You know, I learned a lot from my husband. He just got his master's. So, you know,
Oh,
master on the master.
congratulations to you too, Mr. Ali.
Yes. So, and people will look at you.
So,
People look at you differently when you have all your conditions, you know, all your paperwork lined up. They look at you totally different. It's not somebody who's just talking to talk. I'm talking, I'm walking, and I'm going to birth something great.
that's the plan. And you should put that out in the universe, because one of the things that we as people have to learn is to put positive things out in the universe, because that's what you have to put good thoughts, because that's what comes back to you. And all
That's
those
right.
things that are not, productive, or, that are inspiring, those are the things you need to stay away from. Because I believe, you see this thing right here that is called mouth. This is what
Right.
really, puts things out in the universe, and this is what really takes you through. So all
That's
that you
right.
want, that are positive, you're supposed to put them out into the universe, and they'll
Thank
come to
you.
fruition. I'm a strong believer in
For
that.
sure.
I am. So tell us a little bit about, I know you have a daughter.
Yes.
Tell us about your family, the dynamics of your family. How does your daughter come into play in all this? She helps you. What's her role?
My daughter don't have a role. My daughter is my
She
daughter.
doesn't
She
have a
is
role.
no, she listen, she is 25. She has a 5-year-old son. You know, I talk to my daughter as
She's
much as I
grown.
can. Yeah, but she's still learning, you know. Um, I talk to her every day as much as I can about life. And she have to learn on her own the things that I learn as well. I just want her to know that she does have a supportive family that's there for her, you know. But trust and believe me, when I say come to one of these events and speak, she will. So she has a little role. I'm trying to mold her in a nice way where she will enjoy coming in versus making her do it, you know. So with that, I do want to be her role model. Her and my grandson and my daughter, my sisters. Actually, one of my sisters just reached out to me and told me that she wanted to open up a facility up there in Pennsylvania. That made me feel really good. Like, wow, I'm really doing something
Oh, that's
great.
not,
So
that's great.
yeah. Yep.
You are an inspiration. I
Thank you.
have watched you. I was fortunate enough to really document one of your events last year. And not only
Yes.
that, but I was also fortunate to see you on TV. You were being
Mm-hmm.
interviewed on Channel 7. And I just
Yes.
thought that was awesome. And
Thank
I was
you.
here clapping and excited. You know why? Because when you see one of the things that we as people, one of the things that we
Yes.
as people need to do is always empower each other, especially in the
Absolutely.
Black and brown communities. It's important to
Yes.
empower our sisters and brothers because,
Right.
look, we want you to rise to the occasion. And when you get to where you need to go, it really shows on us that, you know what, everybody tries to put us in the same pot. But no, we're trying to make our lives better. And if it's even one step at a time, but we are. And so I
That's right.
commend you for that. I'm very proud of you and I'm watching
Thank
you.
you.
And I encourage all those who are watching tonight, I'm going to make a donation to your group. I'm making a donation to your group. And I just
Oh
want to really
wow.
say this out here on the platform. I said it before. What I do here is from community. Listen, I live in Brooklyn, but I'm a Black woman. I'm a woman.
There
I'm
you
an
go.
African American woman. I'm a Latino woman. And my whole
Oh,
thing is, if I can help, if I have gifts and talents and I don't use them, shame on me. So
right.
my objective is to help in any way that I can. There is no money in this for me. I do it for the love of my community and the love of my people. I will
Thank
donate, and I
you.
encourage other people who are watching to also reach out to Sherneice. You can give them your details as to how they can donate to your group and help
Mhm.
somebody. Listen, a couple dollars can help, a woman from entering a shelter, a
That's right.
woman from leaving an abusive relationship. Every little bit helps. So,
That's
Sherneice,
right.
again, tell them how they can reach out to you and how they can donate.
So once again, they could go on the website. It's wearephenomenalwoman.com. However, they could go on the GoFundMe,
Mm-hmm.
which is w.a.p.w, and is domestic violence shelter. w.a.p.w, domestic violence shelter. You can go on GoFundMe and you can look that up. So far, we have raised $800. We are still trying. We are
That's
still trying to get
awesome.
up there. Yes, thank you. So, my husband even wrote
That's awesome.
a safety plan and a way how a woman could escape her domestic violence relationship. So he wrote a whole paper on safety plan. So yes, we are working together. Do you see us on here? It's together. It's we definitely doing it. So if it ain't him, it's me. If it ain't me, it's him. So we working. We are, and plenty of nights we go to bed late because we out working. So, yes.
Yeah. So, Mr. Ali, what would you take? What would you say to your fellow brother that is looking at this show, whether it's here in another country? Because I mean, this is on YouTube too. So somebody may be looking and saying, "Oh my God, I am in a relationship, and I'm really getting my ass kicked. What can I do?" What would you say to him?
Well, to be honest with you, if you have to hurt yourself to be with somebody, or somebody has to hurt you in order for you to be in that relationship, then it's not worth it. I mean, at the end of the day, most of the time we get the worst end of the stick. They say that in relationships, most of the time, women and men have the same frequency of violence, but men are most of the often portrayed as the ones that are abusive. So, I mean, if it's a relationship like that, most of the times the issue comes in because a lot of us don't learn the art of conflict resolution and anger management. We don't learn how to love on our spouses as opposed to argue and fight with our spouses. A lot of times it comes from the environment that we grew up in. But we also, to take it further intergenerationally, we have to teach our children what it is to have a healthy relationship, right? Because we not really teaching that. We might teach our children certain things like good manners or this, but a lot of this domestic violence conversation is taboo. People don't speak about it with their children, like, yo, you shouldn't hit your spouse, or you shouldn't hit your boyfriend, or y'all shouldn't be in these type of relationships. This is how you sit down and have a conversation with your spouse without it turning violent, or we shouldn't be calling each other outside of our names. And all of these different things are stuff that we don't learn until later on when the maturity comes in, because there's higher rates of domestic violence in the youth population. A lot of people don't know that. As people are younger, there's a lot of domestic violence in the high schools and in the colleges and in the 20s and so forth and so on. And then it starts to peter off as people get older, because we're just basically dipping our leg into the pond. We don't really know what it takes to have a relationship. We're just jumping out there trying to be grown, as they say. So with that, I mean, sometimes we have to get a little bit more information. That my brothers, y'all have to go out here and go to some of these domestic violence forums and learn what it is to have a healthy relationship, right? We have to create some forums with brothers where we actually bond with each other and teach each other how to love and respect our women in a proper way. Because sometimes some of us came up with the music from back in the days, like Snoop Dogg and Doggy Style, and uh, women ain't nothing but B's and H's and stuff like that. That stuff is all, it plays on the psyche. Some of us was raised to be pimps and so forth and so on. So
Sure.
some of that stuff is stuff that we have to reassess. We have to reassess that stuff. Yeah.
Thank you. And so, Sherneice, what do you have to say to a sisters? What do you have to say to a sister, Sherneice? There's a sister out there that is going through. There's a sister that's going through a hard time. She's afraid. She's afraid. She doesn't know where to turn. She doesn't know what to do. She wants to tell somebody, but she doesn't know how to approach somebody and tell them, "I need help." What do you say to her?
Wow, that's really tough, because I had one person that her and I was maybe a year apart, and she was like the only person I could talk to. So I want to say, please reach out to somebody who you are close with, a close family member, a close friend. And I want us females to also understand that, like my husband just said, a lot of us will put our hands on the guy. And when the guy would turn around and retaliate back, he's in the wrong. I want to let our ladies know, putting your hands on a brother is dead wrong. You are absolutely wrong. Disrespecting him, degrading him, you're wrong. Stop feeling like he's beneath you. He's not. He's not. And for the men, the same. But I want the woman to really understand that when you're wrong, sister. You should not be doing those things. And if you are in a domestic violence relationship, please, at any means, try your very best to get out. If you have the means to. I understand some of us don't, and some of us stay because we're financially bond. There's ways to get out. Take your time and come out and think about an exit plan. If you need someone to talk to, please call. Once again, reach out to wearephenomenalwoman.com. Someone will pick up and speak to you. Also, once again, you can reach out to 911. And when you're ready, exit as fast as you can. Because a lot of us, we stay, we leave, we go back, for whatever reason. Don't judge us. I've been through that myself 7 times. I left and I went back. If you're a friend, please do not say you're stupid, you should leave, all those things, because that only will make somebody don't want to reach out to you no more. Just please be supportive. Domestic violence is real.
No judgment of any kind. No judgment.
Yes.
People who are going through situations, they just don't know where to turn, and they don't need you to knock them down further. They want you to help them, because a lot of these women, because of being afraid, it ends up in situations where they lose their lives.
Absolutely.
And the children also suffer when there are situations like this. So think about the children, think about what you say, and think about ways in which, if you have a friend who's going through that, maybe and you think something is wrong, if you can get her to open up to you and talk to you and see how you can help her. Because 2 heads think better than 1, and you can probably find a solution to your problem together and get help. Because we don't need your friend or anybody else to become a part of the statistic, and in a way that it's not, counting upwards. It's just that somebody losing their lives. So that's what we have to think about and consider. A lot of people, we have some comments here. People are talking about volunteering. If they wanted to volunteer, is there a volunteer position at your group? Tell them how they can, if they can.
Oh, yes, definitely. Once again, please go on wearephenomenalwoman.com, and there's a volunteer button. If it's not, I'll make sure it will be. However, you can still fill out the application and just let me know what is it that you reaching out for. So if you're reaching out to volunteer, put volunteer. And once again, I will reach back to you, or I will have somebody else to reach back to you on that. If somebody who's going through DV, then I will personally reach out and see what I can help you out with. But volunteering, yes, either myself, Sherneice Gatewood, or somebody else will reach back to you and put you in a position. Because right now we're looking for interns. We're looking for people to come out and help and volunteer. We definitely are. Thank you.
That's awesome. Any closing words, first from you, Mr. Ali, and then from you, Sherneice? Closing words, closing remarks.
Yes, I just want to say that most of us, we have to get out here and get some of this information. We have to get some new information. Nothing changes because nothing ever changes. We have to do deep introspection and think about the ways we came up and what we didn't like about it. And if we didn't like it, why would we do it to somebody else? Also, I would like to say that we have a phone number for I Am Phenomenal Unlimited. If you want to develop your business, or you want us to come out and facilitate some classes, or you want to help with branding, becoming a personal brand, or merchandising your brand, you can give us a call. And that phone number is 347-450-6397. Or you can reach us at the email address of I am phenomenal unlimited at gmail.com. So once again, that phone number is 347-450-6397. And you can reach us on the email address I am phenomenal unlimited at gmail.com. Peace.
Wow, you
That's
see why I
awesome.
love this
Thank you,
man?
Mr. Ali. Girl, that's your man. He's got your back. You're supposed to love him just like he loves you. Any
Yes.
parting words, Sherneice? Give us some parting
So
words.
my final words and positive words are: no matter where we came from, no matter how difficult our childhood was, we can make a positive change, and we could start that today.
I love that. Well, I want to say I apologize for all the technical difficulties. I don't know what happened. I tested my mic and everything else, but for this platform, you really need a headphone. That's what you need.
Right.
One of those. But you know what? We grow as we go and we learn as we go. And one of the takeaway is that the information was important and we got our point across, and we'll fix things as we go. There's not perfection.
That's
It's
right.
the information that's important. Just want to thank both of you for coming on, for taking your time to spend it with me and talk about things matters that affect us, that affects our community, and that affects people in general. So thank you to both of you. And I will be making a donation, as I said before,
Thank
to the
you.
group, because
Thank you.
every little bit helps. To those who are watching, I just want to say, remember to find the joy and gratitude wherever it exists. Those are my parting words. Remember that. And I want to give a big shout out to my son, Gabriel Ethan Allen, and to my daughter, Maya Alexa Allen. I love you guys to pieces, and I'm here. I know your mom is a little bit cuckoo good, and I'm a little bit eccentric, but it's all done out of love. And everything that I do is always to inspire someone or to, make somebody better, because that's what our role should be, to
That's
encourage,
right.
to uplift, and to propel someone to the next level. So I just want to say thank you to both of you for coming on, and thank you, thank you, thank you to all those people who support me. I thank you from the very bottom of my heart. And this platform, we're going to continue to grow. We're going to continue to make it better. We're going to fix what's broken. We're going to make it better. This is our role. So please bear with me. Technical difficulties or not, we're still growing. We're still learning. So thank you for subscribing. Remember to subscribe to my page. The information is right on the banner. Subscribe to my page and just follow me. Follow me. If there is information or if there is a topic that you like to see on this show, reach out to me. Send me a message. Send me, inbox me, and I'm happy to find somebody who can discuss it. Again, from the very bottom of my heart, thank you for the love and the support. Peace and blessings, everyone. Girl out, out you. I don't know what you do. I appreciate you
Yes,
from
that
the very
fame.
bottom of my heart. Everything that you do, everything that you do does not go unnoticed. I love you to pieces, and I appreciate you from one sister to another, from one
Aw.
sister friend to another. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and blessings to everybody. Until next time, love you guys. Continue to
Peace.
watch, believe in yourself, and heart and soul. Ciao.
Thank you. Peace.
Peace.
Thank you. Thank you.